Day 2, Genesis chapter 4, 5, 6, and 7. I will begin with a warning that many people overlook. Sin does not begin with action, it begins with the heart. Cain and Abel both brought offerings to God. Outwardly they looked similar, but God looked deeper. Abel gave in faith, Cain gave out of routine, and when Cain realized his offering was not accepted, something dangerous happened inside him: resentment. God warned Cain gently, "Sin is crouching at your door. It desires to have you, but you must rule over it." Before lives fall apart publicly, they usually collapse privately. Unchecked jealousy, silent bitterness, quiet comparison. These are the doors sin waits beside. God's warning shows us that self-control is not suppression. It is stewardship of the heart. Then comes the painful consequence. After Cain kills his brother, God says something striking. When you work the ground, it will no longer yield its crops for you. You will be a restless wanderer on the earth. This isn't just about farming, it's about purpose. Cain's punishment was not instant death, it was fruitless labor. Imagine working hard but seeing no results. Hustling endlessly but never feeling fulfilled. This is a modern curse many people live under, not because God hates them, but because their inner world is broken. When the heart is wrong, even good work feels empty. Productivity without peace is not success, but God's mercy still appears. Cain deserved judgment, yet God placed a mark on him for protection. God can discipline without abandoning. Even when we fail, God does not immediately discard us. That is hope for anyone starting this year with regret. As generations pass, violence grows. Then we meet Lamech, who boasts, "If Cain is avenged 7 times, then Lamech 77 times." This statement reveals how sin escalates when unchecked. Cain killed in anger. Lamech gloried in revenge. What was once shameful became celebrated. This is how cultures decay. Not suddenly, but gradually. When people stop repenting of wrong and start defending it, society hardens. What you tolerate today becomes what you teach tomorrow. Yet, in the middle of this darkness, a light appears: Enoch. The Bible says simply, Enoch walked with God, then he was no more, because God took him away. Enoch did not preach loudly. He did not lead armies. He simply walked with God in a corrupt generation. This is deeply encouraging. You do not need to be famous to be faithful. Walking with God means consistency, not perfection. It means daily alignment, choosing God when no one is watching. And the reward? God's presence. Enoch reminds us that intimacy with God is still possible, even when the world is broken. Then we come to the birth of Noah. His father names him and says, "He will comfort us in the labor and painful toil of our hands, caused by the ground the Lord has cursed." This statement carries both pain and hope. It acknowledges exhaustion, generational struggle, hard work, and disappointment. But it also speaks expectation. Someone is coming who will bring relief. Many people enter a new year tired, carrying the weight of past failures, family burdens, and unanswered prayers. Noah's name reminds us that God often brings comfort quietly, not instantly, but purposefully. By Genesis 6, the world is full of violence and corruption. And then God says something sobering. "My spirit will not contend with man forever, for he is mortal. His days shall be 120 years. This is not just a timeline, it's a mercy warning. God is patient, but patience has purpose. Time is not unlimited. Every delay is an invitation to change. The overlooked lesson here is urgency. Grace is not permission to procrastinate. If God is calling you to grow, to forgive, to obey, or to change direction, now matters. Noah stands out because he listened. He obeyed when obedience looked foolish. He built an ark when there was no rain. Faith often looks strange before it looks wise. And finally, as the flood comes. The animals going in were male and female of every living thing, as God had commanded Noah. Then the Lord shut him in. Noah did not shut the door. God did. This is reassurance for anyone walking in obedience this year. When you follow God's instructions sincerely, He handles the outcome. Protection is not always about walls. Sometimes it's about timing. God knows when to close doors that keep us safe, even when we don't fully understand. As you step into this new year, you don't have to be perfect. You just have to be willing to listen, to walk, and to build what God has asked of you. Like Noah, like Enoch, and unlike Cain, you can choose to rule over what threatens your peace. Guard your heart early. Don't celebrate what should be corrected. Walk with God consistently. Trust that comfort can come after long toil. Respect the urgency of God's voice, and know that obedience invites divine covering.